Prince Harry's comments have certainly put the subject of grief into the spotlight and how best to deal with it. And joining me now is one of Princess Diana's closest friends, Julia Samuel, who is also a grief counsellor. So well equipped to have this conversation, obviously, Julia. I mean, you know the princes, and I certainly don't want to intrude in friendships and everything else. And it is important, though, to touch on the fact you know how special this interview is and what a big deal it was for him to candidly talk about something so personal, because this has clearly been a struggle for 20 years, as he said in the interview.
I mean, I think it's incredible of both of them, actually, to talk about something that's so intensely personal and private and use it for the benefit of others, to break the taboo about mental health. It being okay to ask for help and to talk, you know, as they talk about, is you don't want to have a stiff upper lip everywhere. You need to be able to talk to people who are close to you about what's going on. Well,
when I listened to the podcast where this interview came from, and I think this would probably resonate with an awful lot of people, because he discussed how when people would ask him, how are you, he would instantly go, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine. And he said, but he wasn't fine, but it was quicker to say, I'm fine, as opposed to touching how he really felt. And that's what a lot of people, I think, probably go through. They don't want to burden others with how they really feel.
Because there's a real sense of shame about mental ill health and not feeling well or not showing your grief. And, you know, we've had it for generations in this country. And both these young men are changing that so that we do begin to talk more openly. You feel much more connected. And also they then, as Prince Harry said in his podcast, they start telling you about how they're feeling. And everything becomes more open and you don't feel so alienated from the world. And it's preventative medicine. You know, if you start talking and are honest with yourself first and then with others, it stops, you know, psychological illness later on in your life.
'Cause he did say as well, at points in his life, he felt like, and to quote him, like punching someone because of just this frustration and anger, I guess, that he just couldn't process.
Because grief is embodied. Well, you know, everything we feel is embodied. And the whole sort of aim is to find a way of regulating your system, of managing how you feel. You can't not feel what you're feeling. You know, when somebody dies, it's extremely painful, and pain is what forces you to adjust to the reality. So it's finding a way of allowing yourself to feel the pain and engage with life.
Of course, there are no quick magic words to make the pain disappear quickly, but what would you advise, and certainly even in those early days, Julia, someone that is struggling with grief and everything that comes with it at this point?
I mean, the most important thing is connection to others, that when we lose love, we need the love of others to support ourselves. So surround yourself with people who will listen to you, who will acknowledge what you're feeling, who won't try and fix you. Again, shifting your body, move yourself around, get some exercise, whether it's a run or a walk, because grief is embodied.
Because it can fester in you, can't it?
It can fester in you. But also know it's for the long term. You know, grief, you know, Harry is the perfect example. It lives with you, it comes in phases. And so to have people who you can talk to through the long term makes a big difference.
Yeah, and also you talk about talking to others. It's important that those others are patient with you, that it's not something that happens overnight. You have to be there as well for the long haul to help with the support and the love. Absolutely.
And yeah, so I mean, often we kind of think after 3 months you should be fixed, or 6 months you should be okay, and then you sort of go back, your friends go back to their normal life and you expect you to be getting on with your kind of normal life. And really, it's the friends that ask you 18 months down the line. I was thinking about whoever it was that died, and I was, you know, how are you with it? People feel so grateful to be able to say the name of the person that's died and to be able to talk about it long after the initial shock of it.
Yeah, well, as you say, Julia, keep talking. It's so important, and Prince Harry and Prince William are our voice in that message at the moment. Thank you very much, Julia. Thank you.